There's an article in a chapter in Justice Gone Haywire, Chapter 7, Jean Harris, the case for her innocence. And I wrote this about a case in 1980 of the headmistress of a prestigious girls' school, a prep school called Madeira, who, a private high school, who had shot her boyfriend of something like 12 years, Dr. Herman Tarnower. And she was charged with second-degree murder. In New York, where she was tried, you're only charged with first-degree murder under very special circumstances. I think it has to be like the murder of a police officer or something. But anyway, I made the case for her innocence. Now, I actually wrote 2 articles on her, one objective and one making the case for her innocence, which I actually do believe in. Now, one of the oddities about this case is that Jean Harris made the decision to kill herself, okay? And even the jury in the case believed that she intended suicide, not murder, when she drove to Dr. Tarnower's house and just wanted to say goodbye to him because he'd been so important to her. Now, what was it that triggered her desire for suicide? Okay, a lot of things in her life had been going wrong. First of all, both of her children were grown-ups, so she was no longer an active mother. And she was having a lot of problems as the headmistress of the Madeira School for Girls because a lot of people thought she was overly strict with the girls. Okay, and this thing came to a head because it was only shortly before what would have been graduation. And they found marijuana paraphernalia in the dorm room of 4 seniors. They were about to graduate. And she decided to expel them. Their parents had paid tens of thousands of dollars for their education, and they were going to be expelled just I think it was like 2 months before graduation for having marijuana paraphernalia. Now, well, she did originally have support in this decision. She also had opposition, and there was a demonstration on on the campus by the kids that took place on their behalf. That another thing about it was Jean Harris had kind of taken this one girl under her wing because she'd been the victim of a kind of vicious prank. And Jean Harris had helped the girl and considered her kind of like a special protege, or a special student of hers. And she got a letter that the girl said was not a hate letter at all, but said you just weren't handling the situation properly, because everybody knew that a lot of the girls smoked marijuana, and therefore it was hypocritical to just punish 4 of them. Okay, and Jean Harris said that she felt like that letter from a student that she had gone out of her way to befriend and assist put a box on her life. She felt like she'd blown the whole thing, that she just couldn't function as a useful human being anymore. Okay, now there also were problems in her personal life. Okay, the first one, of course, was Herman Tarnower had proposed marriage a few years prior, several years prior, but then he backed out of it, and so they could still see each other, but he didn't want to marry her because she had 2 teenage boys, and he didn't want to live in a house with two teenage boys. He was scared too. What was he scared of? He didn't say. He wouldn't discuss it any further. But she knew, of course, that he saw other women. He was not an attractive man, but his being a respected cardiologist, apparently women were attracted to, his being a respected professional and the appearance of power and wealth that he had. And he was quite compulsively promiscuous, had quite a few girlfriends, but she had a major rival who was his office assistant, Lynn Triforos. And, and the thing is, she was having problems in her personal life, problems in her professional life,